All right, why don't we start? I'll call the meeting to order. All members are present and in the room. And we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start with the comments. So this whole Dock and Dine, Duffy Pavilion, proposal that is out there. We're putting a public informational hearing on April 30th, which we will, push out something tomorrow on the website and, also put it on the electronic signboards. We'll do that tomorrow. We're also gonna put out an informational sheet tomorrow. That is the plan, tomorrow or Thursday when it's ready. And we are working on the documents also. I just want to talk a little bit about sequencing on this, on the record. So we did it through, obviously, Park and Rec had to propose it. It had to come out of Park and Rec. And I think getting it before the public with Park and Rec voting on it and with planning and the Board of Selectmen voting on it, voting to recommend it, doesn't bind the town. No one, and I'm gonna repeat this, no one is saying, if we don't do this, whatever, the world's gonna come to a rapid conclusion. It is just, we wanted to do what we did in the sequence we did it, to get it before the public. And what will happen here is we'll have the public information session. We'll put out an informational sheet. We will then see by next Wednesday if we have a purchase and sale agreement, and the purchase and sale agreement is really for the Duffy Pavilion itself. And then the town purchases the Dock and Dine property, and then the lease is strictly the land lease. If those documents are not fully negotiated and they were sent to the other side, today, Pete Gelderman and I had a conference today to kind of finalize them. Then we'll probably have another public hearing to discuss what's in the documents. I don't want to put unfinished documents before the public that are subject still to negotiation. So it is unclear what the timing is from here, but the idea would be public hearing. If the public hearing is all we need to do at that point, then we would probably maybe have either another public hearing, or the Board of Selectmen could simply set a referendum. It doesn't have to be a public hearing that adjourns to referendum. So situation somewhat fluid at this point. We have a few other matters that we have to handle before the end of the year. There is some information, there's some interest rather on the Neighborhood Assistance Act, probably more than ever. We've done that for the Cancer Society, Cancer Foundation, the Kate every year, but I think the estuary is putting in something this year, and there might even be a fourth. So it's no skin off our nose. We just put them forward. If they
credits, right? Tax credits, is that what it is?
it's a tax credit for a corporation if they want to donate the money to the nonprofit. There are various uses that you can use it for: energy savings, you can use it for renovations, but the credit is different for various ways to use it. So there's a couple things coming down the pike that we need to keep an eye on. Obviously, we have the budget public hearing on May 5th that adjourns to referendum on May 13th. So those are just a couple of the items that I wanted to mention. We did have pre-bids on 2 projects yesterday: the sidewalks across Main Street and the sidewalks, or the crosswalks on Main Street, and the sidewalks to Westbrook. Those bids will be opened on May 12th. The pre-bid was not mandatory, so we didn't have a feel for how many might bid on this. But I have to imagine the crosswalks will get a fair bit. And the sidewalks too. It's a big job. I'm meeting with Eric O'Connell from Harbor News on Friday, just because there's gonna be a lot of construction this summer. I think there should be, I told him that, I think there should be an article on what's going on. Because between what's going on Ingham Hill Road, Chalkers Mill Pond Dam will be fixed. Beaver Dam Trail won't cause much traffic, obviously, but Main Street and Route 1 are big deals. I mean, so, and, you know, people are like, why do they have to do this in the summer? But if it's pavement, you have to do it in the summer and fall. And so we'll see where that goes. But, so, that is what I have. Anybody? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, just to comment on the Saybrook Point proposal, and this is, we welcome the opportunity for conversation, for information, and just want to encourage people also to reach out to us, and happy to make sure that people have the correct information or have their questions answered.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to do that in advance, and
Right.
obviously, I reached out to someone brought a comment through a third person to me, and I called them, and I didn't convince them. But they were appreciative of the call, and I said, it's fine, so, we'll see.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead, I didn't want to jump on you.
No, not a problem. Just built off what I was gonna say. And I think that's the important message with this. Just two questions on projects that I'm not sure if you've heard any status on. The Dave Brown's property. Have we heard how that's moving with probate?
So I checked a little while ago, 6 weeks ago, and they told me upstairs that they were going to be wrapping it up shortly. Let me check back tomorrow. It seems like a long time to me just for a relatively simple probate, and there is a time limit on this stuff that you should really close it out, so I will report back to you. It's
Okay.
public information.
Yeah.
Anybody can go upstairs and ask, is the Brown estate? But it can't be closed because we're entitled to some sort of notification.
Okay.
And I say that, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Anyway, what else?
The other one was the lighthouse. Have we heard? anything?
Unbelievable, nothing.
Yeah,
Nope,
okay.
no,
I expected as much. I figured if we had heard something.
I forgot about the
news, but
lighthouse.
yeah,
Isn't that amazing? What was that? 2 years ago anyway? No.
yeah, pushing it.
That's really interesting. I will get in touch with New Brainerd, just for my own, I'm kind of curious if they've heard anything.
Okay.
That is pretty remarkable that hasn't been awarded yet. One other thing I think I can share. I met with this morning and previously had conversations with Jessica Britannia, who is the mother of one of the young men who were killed at the tragic boat accident last September, late August. And she wanted to meet with me. She wanted to talk about a couple things. The Coast Guard apparently already has moved the buoy. There was a buoy out there that was probably, I don't want to say misplaced, but could have been located better. And the Coast Guard has already moved buoy. In addition to that, there is a spindle. Don't ask me too much about a spindle, but I guess the spindle is either reflective or flashes to signal that you're getting near the channel. I could have some of this wrong. And apparently the Coast Guard has agreed that it will be lit. So she's mentioned to me that they are planning on having some sort of lighting ceremony when the new spindle has to be replaced. So when that happens, they plan on having some sort of memorial ceremony to mark the lighting. There is not going to be, I've heard other people talk about lights all along the inner channel. That is not up for consideration right now, but interestingly, the Coast Guard did make two changes. Now, those were not the only factors, as we all know, in the accident. There were other factors, but if it improves general boating safety, that's better for everybody. That's number one. They're having a golf tournament. They want to get out on the water and educate people. They want to have like an Uber for boaters. That is one of the end goals. So they're raising money to buy a boat. And the boat will have to be manned, and that would be part of the nonprofit to man the boat. And be active on the waters, ask people to make sure they have their life preservers, make sure they're, safe, make sure if they need help with anything. And so I had met her at the Rotary event several weeks ago. Somebody introduced me to her, and then she came in today. I just wanted you guys to know that there is stuff going on with that. You've all seen the signs Light the Way, and that she has been very active, and I know others that were involved in the accident, their families have been very active. I know there's also proposed to be a bike ride by the Hallahan young man who passed away. I hate to say widow because she's so young.
Brittany.
Yes. It's just shocking to say that for such a young person, but she called me about a cycling ride, like 30 miles or something like that. So I did meet with them. I didn't prepare many other comments other than that, but I'll follow up on both the Dave Brown property and the lighthouse. It's pretty interesting that the lighthouse, after all this time, still does not have a new owner, and I'm sure we would have heard of that. All right, so did you both get the minutes from the 15th, the really short minutes? I think it was just Matt and I were at it before the Board of Finance. I did those quick the other day.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'll move the minutes from April 8th, 2025. Second by Matt. Scott, you were here, right? For that one, April 8th?
We did 8th, 9th, and was that last week? Where I missed Tuesday, but it came
April
Wednesday.
8th, you were here, you were remote.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were remote, so, so it's been moved and seconded. Any comments, changes on those? I think I did watch the video for that, so, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I recall that.
And then Matt, you and I were at the meeting for April 15th, which moved the, new accounting upgrade, software upgrade. I'll move those. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And I'll note your abstention. So we have the call of the special town meeting. We've already done the annual town meeting, so this would be a very quick meeting before that meeting to approve the upgrade to the accounting system and the matching grant for the tree audit. So I'll move the call. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any comments on this? So, I mean, very simple agenda, obviously, tonight.
I'm getting one of those trees on Saturday,
Oh, you are?
from Carolyn Rye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Everybody have pens? Let's see. Little League opening day is Saturday. I'll be at that. Thank you. We are meeting, by the way, I wanted to mention, we are meeting with David Corus. We're setting that up for May 8th, now that we've opted into
Great.
whatever they call it. I don't wanna butcher the name, Connecticut something, right?
Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, CMDA.
We also, yeah. We received our, road closing from the state for June 22nd, also for, Celebrate Saybrook. I am meeting with Ryan Walsh weekly right now to discuss with him any challenges he's having, any help he needs. And Ryan has been on Johnny on the spot. He's been great, working hard at it. We also had our payroll folks over there on Monday of this week to go over there and get a better idea as to how their payroll works. I just, but you guys should know that too, because that was one of the perf recommendations, that we should have better visibility into all that stuff. And so we're working on that. Did not forget it. There have been also, I just wanted to mention resignations at the police department. Phil Coco, who I think was basically in charge of dispatch, resigned. Mary Lou Sunday, who was in the records department, resigned or retired. I shouldn't say retired. Let's,
Okay.
yeah, sorry,
Sorry.
retired. Sorry about that. And Sergeant Gardner, who does IT, is retiring from doing IT at the police station.
Okay.
So those all came in 3 separate emails altogether yesterday. Dated April 5th. I don't know why we just received it yesterday. So knowing, I knew Sergeant Gardner was considering retiring, and I just want you guys to know that I contacted several other first select persons, town administrators immediately to see what they do for IT. And there are several different models. Sometimes there's an internal candidate and a company that supports it. So I talked to Michelle and Clinton. Michelle, I'm gonna get her name wrong, Pennsylvania. She's a town administrator there. She gave me a company called Omni Data, and they do a bunch of police departments in the state. Also, there may be an internal candidate to do some of the stuff like this, and the enterprise, the cloud-based stuff can be done by maybe an outside company. So we're working on that. I had Lieutenant Walsh email the gentleman from Omni Data to set up a meeting with him and Sergeant Gardner so he can get a better idea and handle on day one when they come in and have to take this over. I have no doubt that this will be successful. They do this, and the guy didn't sound very concerned, but obviously there's a lot to learn because everything is different. Well, I don't know how ultimately that will shake out in terms of who will end up doing the work. But I need someone in there immediately.
What was the timeline or notice that they
May
gave?
5th for Sergeant Gardner.
Oh, wow.
So I
May
need
5th or April 5th?
May 5th. The letter was dated April 5th. The notice of that I'm retiring comes.
May 5th.
Good question. Sorry about that. So I'm trying to set something up quickly so that it can be relatively seamless. Whether Omni Data ends up being the provider ultimately, I don't know, but we need someone in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, depending on the contract size, would we have to go out
Possibly.
to return that, but we might be able to do it for a temporary period.
First of all, there's emergency authorization.
Yeah.
Through this board. But 100%, you know, it is a consultant. I mean, kind of not a consultant, but it might fit under the, I don't know, okay? I want to get him in there. I want to make sure everything's stable and the police department is running the way it should run.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out after that.
Okay.
But so all that kind of came across more recently, but I thought you guys should know that too. They should. Discussion and possible action on a refund, 16 Bird Street. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So these were 2 different building permits on Bird Street. So I'll move, you can see there are different numbers. I'll move the second one. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Economic development, actually, we don't have much work here because Casey has not resigned yet. Casey Hand has not given her notice to the town clerk.
Oh,
We've been notified that she is thinking about it, but, or has made the decision, but just simply has not triggered, the necessary paperwork. So there's really no business to do on EDC tonight, and Georgianne just confirmed that yesterday.
okay.
Sorry to drag you guys out, tonight. It's so
Sorry.
beautiful. Matt, what was your birthday? Your birthday?
It was last week when we had the special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Well,
thank you. Don't apologize tonight, but.
I hope you enjoyed it. So, that's it. So we'll table, I'll move to table item number D. D1 and 2, and second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Alright,
And that's all we got. We'll just move to an adjournment. I'll move that. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.